Welcome everybody. I'm sitting here with the Rayleigh family. I have Isaac Rayleigh and his son, Aden. Aden and Isaac have been a part of the program for some time now, and they are honestly some of my favorite clients. They've been a real joy to work with. The way Aden shows up on the calls, he's extremely mature, especially for his age, and just what he's able to do on the basketball court and what he's achieved in this short amount of time working together just really puts a smile on my face. So without further ado, I want to welcome you fellas. Just go ahead and introduce yourselves. Tell us where you're from.
Well, my name is Aden Rayleigh. I live in Wichita, Kansas. I go to May South Intermediate School, and I love basketball. I've been training since like 5 years ago and playing competitively since like 3 years ago. And I feel like I'm a fast progressor, and this program has definitely helped me improve my mental state and calm down, even my shooting and the way I attack the rim. It's definitely improved since I've been in these sessions, and it just helps me calm down in the game when I just remember the things that we went over.
That's awesome. And Isaac, yourself?
And my name is Isaac Rayleigh, Aden Rayleigh's dad. Of course, we've been a part of the program for quite some time now, about 4 months in total now, since we had the first opportunity to meet Trey, and it's been awesome.
Isaac, just specifically, I remember our conversations before Aden got started in the Elite Performance Accelerator, and we were really talking about his mindset, right? He's, a real dog on the court, and he could do a lot of things with the basketball, especially for somebody his age. And we were really just missing that mental component. So what is it that you were looking for at the start of the program, and how has that transpired over the past 4 months?
I can tell you, just at the start of the program, I was looking to help him develop mental toughness, and not just in you got to be tough kind of way, but no, to really process what he's doing and understand that the mental toughness piece of this that he needs to have in order to achieve the goals that he has for himself. Like, his issues were not just unique to him, right? So when I heard your story, I saw your testimony, I kind of started doing some research online and saw some of your stuff. Then we also shared the same core beliefs religiously, so that helped as well. So, and it's just a little different. So I knew that, okay, what I was doing was not necessarily working for him. Now, I had some other guys, but what I was doing was working for him well. However, for him, he needed to hear a little different voice, right? So it was important to me to find someone with the same set of core beliefs that could tap into what we needed and help my son to develop some mental toughness. And when I say mental toughness, one of the things was just understanding basketball is a game of ebbs and flows. We're going to have ups and downs. Some teams are going to go on some runs. You're going to go on some runs. It's just the natural state of basketball. You're going to make mistakes. Chances, you might have that magical game where you shoot 100%, but chances are it's not going to happen.
Yeah,
right. So once you make a mistake or something negative happens, understanding, having the next play mentality, turning the page and moving on, like helping him develop that. So that's one of the reasons I came to you guys, because I wanted to help him develop that and be able to give him a mental edge to be able to have that next play mentality.
Yeah. And Isaac, you said something really important about finding somebody who essentially you can trust, right? And I know not everybody has the same spiritual values, the same, religious beliefs, and that's completely fine. I think the main thing that, and correct me if I'm wrong, I feel like what sets this program apart is that a lot of parents around the country don't necessarily have the access to get to somebody who can make that change, right? We all live in different places and the resources around us are different. So just talk about that a bit. I'd love to hear more about that. Like, I know this is a new approach working online in this type of format. What beliefs did you need to break in? Like, what would you tell to somebody who is maybe on the fence about dipping their toe in the water and doing something that they've never done before in order to get a result that they really want?
I would say, don't look at the video component or being able to do it like this virtually. That's the word for it. Being able to do this virtually, like, don't look at that as a negative. Where from our generation, I'm 45 years old, right? I actually love sitting in front of people and having a meeting and be able to look them in their eyes in that way and share a common space with them when we're talking and having meetings. Well, kids are different.
Yeah.
Right? We live in a mainly, virtual society. They go to school, yes, and all of that, but a lot of the things they even do in school are on computers or laptops, or they're doing something virtually all the time. They're learning TikTok dances virtually. They're picking up and learning things on their own virtually through YouTube, for the things that us parents allow them to actually watch. So, this generation is a little bit different. They might even be able to gain, a little bit more sometimes from virtual interaction. It might help some kids kind of be at ease, which we always make sure or try our best to make sure Aden is well-rounded and can handle the in-person kind of interactions with people as well as the virtual interaction with people. But if you might be nervous about, I don't know if he's going to get or she's going to get what they need from the virtual interaction. I can tell you this has been awesome. This has been absolutely awesome.
Oh, that's awesome. And thank you for sharing that. And you touched on something earlier that I want to ask you, Aden, right? I think for you, it was really helpful to realize that you weren't alone in this process, right?
Yeah.
I know with basketball, sometimes you got your head down and you're focused and locked in and working. There's kids all across the country and players all across the country who are dealing with the same issues that you're dealing with. So talk a bit about how it's been for you to step into a community of people who are going through the same thing and the confidence that it gave you to be able to overcome any obstacle.
Well, it made me really confident in myself because that made me realize, oh, I'm not the only one with these problems. And in the cause, I felt like I belonged there. And when I was in the game, it just really helped me relax, knowing that there was other people that experienced the same thing that I experienced.
Yeah. And how do you think that gave you a leg up against, your competition?
Because I know that they're not doing this stuff like this because I can obviously see that they're getting frazzled in the game and trying to get in other people's heads and stuff like that. You taught me how to just calm down and really clock into the game.
Yeah. Let me ask you, and I know this change doesn't really take a long time for certain players. And I know for you, the program's different now. It's a bit longer for those who are just entering, but for you, it was a 3-month program, right? When did it really click for you that oh, wow, I can move at a completely different speed than these kids out here and I don't have to overthink?
Really after that second, third call, or whatever call it was that we were watching that film, your film, where it was oh, I only did one move and you scored 40 points. Yeah. So that just really slowed the game down for me completely.
Yeah. Let me ask you this. What would you tell a young Aden, let's say, a younger Aden, maybe 4 months ago, right? What advice would you give to yourself?
Keep pushing. Don't get discouraged. No matter how tough it looks or how intimidating your competition is, you just have to stay calm and lock in to the game and you'll prosper.
Yeah, I love that. And Isaac, I'd love to hear from you, just speaking to you 3-4 months ago, right? What's some advice that you would give to yourself or maybe another parent who's in your shoes?
I would say allow your kid to enjoy the process. And what I mean by that is Aden is just, you tell them how old you are.
12.
Yeah.
Right. Aden is just 12 years old. Right. And sometimes as parents, we go to training sessions with them. We see, or some of us might even train them. You see what they're capable of. And then at times it can be really frustrating when you don't see that translating to the game. And we can make it a lot more difficult or slow the progress down a lot more by just harping on what you didn't do. You could have did this. Why didn't you do this? Why didn't you do that? Why didn't you see this? Number one, we aren't in the game playing. They're on the court. They have a different perspective. And eventually they will start doing it. The important thing, I believe, is just to watch film, allow them to see their self on film, and they'll start to see their opportunities. And everybody gets it at a different time. And that's the other thing too. We can push our kids because we want to get it right now. But the truth is 12 years old, the NBA is not scouting Aden right now. Right?
Yeah.
Most college coaches are not scouting. Well, our situation is a little bit different than the normal, but for most kids, colleges are not scouting them at 11, 12 years old. So as a parent, breathe, let your kid kind of enjoy the process of. I heard Kobe Bryant in the interview, before he passed, talk about he was just really curious and trying to understand things, understand the game and the why behind something. Like, allow your kid to get through that process. If it was good enough for arguably one of the best players ever, it should be good enough for you and your kid. Like I say, our situation is a little bit differently. I can say when we started the program, I remember telling you, Trey, like, hey, we got some really important camps coming up here. His first couple sessions was like that week. And I was like, well, I honestly wanted to kind of pull him from him because we had not done some of the mental work yet. I wasn't sure how he was going to do, how he was going to react. I know he could flat out play. I knew he should be amongst some of the best kids in the country at his age group, but the mental piece, but after those 2 sessions, I could kind of see him start to mature right there in front of my eyes. So we let him, go through those camps and sessions. And from the first camp, first time, he ended up being amongst, I think he ended up like 60, 70, something like that in the country at his age group. I have another son too, and he ended up being number 2 in the country at the camp. And Aden kept playing and being consistent. Well, now, and not that these rankings matter, but it is a testament to your hard work. On most of the rankings, Aden is between 50 to 30 now, as high as 30 on some of them.
That's awesome.
In the country amongst his peers. And honestly, if he keeps playing and keeps doing what he's doing, he probably will end up being in the top 10 or 15 pretty soon. Definitely has the skill and the talent to be there. You know how these things go. It's just getting the opportunity. That's the thing.
No, definitely. And I'd love for you to talk a bit about your opportunity because, yes, it is unique. Not every family, is in the situation you're in with children who are ranked in their age group within the country, which is amazing. And I think you all have a very interesting perspective now, and it's a bit different than maybe some of the other parents and players that I talk to, specifically those who haven't been through the program, right? Because as much as you all are proud about these rankings, I can tell you really just don't care about it right now. It's just, Aden, I know it feels good to be ranked. At the same time, you just want to go out there and work, right? You just want to go out there and keep getting better. How was that perspective maybe shift for you, Aden? Because I know a lot of kids out there are concerned about their ranking, right? How has it changed for you since being in the program?
Well, it's kind of easier for me because I'm not like extremely on the rankings. So it kind of just makes me want to drive more to get a higher spot. But I'm not too worried about the rankings because I know, and my dad tells me this all the time, it doesn't really matter-ish until like high school.
Yep.
Where like the ESPN rankings and stuff like that comes out. That's when it really matters. But until then, I'm going to just keep working, keep grinding until that day comes.
Yeah. No, definitely. Like one of the reasons why I'm really just excited to keep working with you and why I'm just so proud of you is just the way you carry yourself. Like you're 12 years old and I could tell you've had some media training, it seems like, but it's really just, I personally feel like maybe just a result of your parents, right? And how they keep you on the straight and narrow path and help you keep the main thing, right? And Isaac, I think about this, right? I think it takes a special type of parent to admit that even though they have kids who are some of the best in the nation, there's room for improvement, right? Like,
absolutely.
I think for you, like one of the things that maybe separates you from some of the other parents who you probably know on the AAU circuits is that you admit that you don't have all the answers. Talk to me a bit about that.
And that's huge for me because Aden and Akanch, they have an older brother that I went through the same process with. And my older son, I learned very quickly I was his coach, I was his trainer, did that all the way through. And I was really, really tough on him. And another thing, I wanted him to play. right? So that's the other big difference. Aden wanted to play itself. Like, he begged to play. I kept telling him, no, 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 no. And like, just keep doing something, else really, really smart. Let's just stay the course with what we got going on. But he was persistent and loved basketball so much. And I said, okay, I'll help you. But having another son that went through it, seeing that, and at the end, my other son got burnt out. And he was like, oh, I really don't want to play basketball. Okay, we're at the point now where, okay, it's time to get ready for college and some other opportunities that were there on the table. And, he's like, oh, I really don't want to do it. And, being a professional basketball player, going through college in the process, like, you got to really love this and want to do it, because after high school, it pretty much becomes like a job by the time you get to college.
Definitely.
So you got to really, really love it, or you're going to flame out. So he flamed out. So it taught me with Aden, when Aden came along, I still train, I still coach and all of that stuff, but I am strategic about bringing in other voices that I trust to help him with different parts of his game. So my voice is not the only voice, right? So like, I would encourage some parents, even if you have a trainer you really, really love, right? And kind of here, I see it a lot. Like, you'll have some trainers that it's like, this is my kid. This is my guy, right? And they'll kind of, try to steer you and keep you just with them. I would say no one person has all of the answers. No one guy, very few people. Now there are a couple out here, but it's very, very few that could take a kid from a beginner all the way to becoming a pro, and especially an NBA pro, one of the best leagues in the world. There's very few people that can take a person from beginning to end. So, find out what this trainer is good at, or what that trainer is really good at, and get your kid with people that teach the same principles and stuff that you would want them to get, but they may have something a little bit special that they do differently than someone else. And I just learned that, no, I do not have all of the answers. And if I felt like I did, they probably would get tired of hearing my voice by the end anyway. So
yeah, no, that's important. I think a unifying theme between a lot of parents and all the parents in the program is that they realize that their voice is only going to get so far. Even if we communicate the same message, right? Your kids are going to hear it in a different way. So that's awesome.
Yes.
Last question, and last two questions before we sign off. I want you to talk about how, I want to hear from both of you. What is your biggest takeaway from the program, from our 3 to 4 months together? And then what are you most looking forward to achieving in our remainder of our time together, working together?
I can go first.
Mm-hmm.
My biggest takeaway is probably to stay calm and speed of the game. And he taught me to how to slow the game down and not be rushed. That was my biggest takeaway. And I'm looking forward to learning even more and finding out new methods to improve my mental state.
I love that. I love that. And Isaac?
And I would say one of the things I'm looking forward to for Aden is just some of the detail work of the game. Seeing film from a different perspective, from your perspective versus my perspective, some of the other clients and stuff that I have, their perspective, because everybody, you might be looking at the same things or seeing the same things, and you might not, So just him really being able to glean from your perspective and be able to take that throughout his playing career with him. So I'm really looking forward to that.
Awesome. And what was your biggest takeaway as well?
My biggest takeaway, I would just have to say, trust in the process, because this was new for me. This was the first virtual type of thing we did where, yeah, I could sit in the room if I wanted to, right? But it's a little different for me. Like I said, I really value the face-to-face, normal, typical interaction. But the biggest takeaway for me was just trusting you, trusting your process. After I got a chance to see, okay, because people can have a testimony, or it might seem like they have shared values until you kind of talk to them after a while, and then you can see, okay, well, this is just a facade or just a surface. So I really got a chance to see, okay, no, your testimony is genuine. who you are is genuine. So that was one of the biggest takeaways for me, just breathe and allowing myself to trust you with Aden, because you were the person that you were putting forth in your videos, you were putting forth with your personal testimony, in your videos and stuff like that with your mom. I would tell the parents, like, nah, it is genuine, you know. And I will say your parents have done an awesome job.
Thank you.
Raising you, man. And they've raised a solid, young, God-fearing man of standards and morals and principles. So that was, like I said, one of my biggest takeaways was just, you know, hey, I can trust this guy with my son.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that. You know, I'm really grateful to God that, you know, he does things for a reason, right? And I do not take your trust or Aiden's trust or your wife's trust lightly, you know, any of my clients for that matter. So I really appreciate the time we've spent together so far. And I look forward to next month we got together and the rest of this year. So without further ado, I just want to thank you for your time. And that is it for today. And we'll see y'all some other time. Take care.